Caution. Entertainment banter may use language that's inappropriate for some listeners. And as always, caution in case you missed it the first time.
Well, welcome back to Entertainment Banter. For this evening, we're going to be talking about Hollywood cars with...
Do you want to... you talking about me?
Yeah, we're talking Hollywood cars with...
Matt.
And Joel.
Okay, sorry. Wow, you changed the intro, so it kind of threw me off for a second. Well, you got to let me know about these things.
I just
now
did.
My whole game's off, maybe for the whole podcast.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Wow. So Hollywood cars.
Hollywood cars. And we're not just talking about any Hollywood cars. We're gonna like talk about like famous standout cars. So standout
cars like what the Dukes of Hazzard car,
exactly,
the Batmobile,
yes, all of that stuff.
The Blues Brothers car, maybe.
You could. That's a stretch, but yeah,
that is a stretch.
Something like the A-Team van. The A-Team van. Knight Rider. Well, Kit was Knight Rider. General Lee was the name of Dukes of Hazzard.
General Lee, Kit.
Yeah.
We got the Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters car, yeah. And then we also have, I was trying to think of the other one too, like Back to the Future. We have the
DeLorean.
Yep. So there's a lot of cars. Oh, I was thinking of Herbie. Like
Herbie, the Bug.
The Bug, yeah.
Or even Transformers, how it went from a Bug to an old 69 Camaro to the new Camaro.
Whatever,
it's a giant Chevy commercial.
Giant Chevy commercial. And then even one animated one that's kind of out there, they did a live action of it, is the Mystery Machine from Scooby-Doo.
The Mystery Machine.
These cars to me stand out.
They did do a live action, didn't they?
Yes, they did. So, I don't know. It's just for fun. Like, notice a lot of
Did you just say this is for fun?
Of course it's for
fun. I think
fun.
this whole thing's, all week if you've been listening to us, it's all just been for fun.
Right. Well, this particular one is just kind of ridiculous, you know. It's a stretch for me. It's a stretch. But notice a lot of these cars, they came out in the 80s. You notice that? Like the 80s seemed to be the time of the timeline of these cars having like characters.
The General Lee wasn't from the 80s, or was that show Dukes of Hazzard was not from the 80s?
It may not have started in the 80s, but it carried on for quite a few seasons. I don't know if it would actually... I remember watching it as a kid in the 80s, so I do remember it as an 80s kind of feel, but maybe it started in the 70s, perhaps.
The General Lee.
Yeah, so...
What kind of car was that again?
What was that, a Challenger? What was
Dodge Challenger?
I think so.
It could have been.
I think so. No, Challenger.
That's the Confederate flag on it, right?
Yes.
I hear that they're not going to let them have it on there anymore.
What? Well, I think that's a whole other subject matter. But
all right.
Oh, you know what I was thinking? So I was going to ask your opinion about some of these things. I think it's kind of funny. Well, first of all, if you could drive, if any of these cars were in existence and they were real, you know, if Kit could actually talk and have a personality.
Oh God.
The DeLorean could actually go.
Now we're talking Kit from the 80s.
Knight Rider.
Knight Rider.
Yeah, not the
new one
failure.
with the Mustang.
Yeah, that one that didn't last more than a season.
The color changing, paint changing
Transformer.
Car. Yeah, pretty much. All right, wait. So if I choose,
pick any vehicle, Ghostbuster car, and it's legit. You know, if you pick the Ghostbuster car, it might even have a proton pack in it, that kind of thing. What Hollywood car, Herbie the Love Bug, actually is alive and has a personality? Which one would you love to drive?
Well, let me ask you: if I chose one of these cars, would it be in that kind of universe? So if I picked like the Ghostbusters car, we gotta be able to go after and look for ghosts, or am I just talking like memorabilia? I'm driving around and going to.
I'm not talking Hollywood. I'm saying like it actually has a real proton pack in it, and you could just have it right now. Use your imagination.
And ghosts exist, and I can go take them out.
I'm not saying ghosts exist.
Or if I chose the DeLorean and then.
Like it has sirens.
And I actually can go back in time.
You can go back in time.
And actually,
the DeLorean. Yeah.
Well, any car choice? Is there any ones we're missing out? Are we missing any Hollywood cars?
There's a couple. I'm purposely saving a few. But...
Do we count like James Bond's, Aston Martins, and all those cars?
Exactly. That was one I was thinking about too. Any one of those, yeah.
I'd have to choose, even though it seems really like cliche. And I don't think it's cliche is the right word, but I have to choose the DeLorean from Back to the Future because then. It's a time machine.
It is a time machine.
I have all the time in the world, but with great power comes great responsibility. Because if you chose the DeLorean,
yes.
Now your first thought is, well, I can go back in time,
right?
Or I can go into the future. Thing is, I would never go back in time because it creates.
Would you be afraid to go back in time?
I would be afraid to go back in time.
Okay, so let me ask you this: does that mean? You would watch that speedometer like crazy because if you hit that 88 mark, you're screwed.
I would never.
You can't even drive on the 5 freeway anymore.
Well, if we're talking realistically, like we have a time machine now, I go back in time. It'd be really hard to get up to 88 miles per hour. First off, secondly, I would have the time set to go in the future, so if it ever did happen by accident, because going back in time, you can screw up so much shit. You never know what would happen.
Right.
You would have to go back in time and just live there.
Right.
You wouldn't come back to the future. You just live there. You wouldn't want to know what you changed.
Right.
So you.
All right. Well, for me personally, because I'm such a sucker, is I would do the Michael Keaton 19, the Batman. The Batmobile. I think.
Dude, that was made like on an Oldsmobile.
I know, but it's still just that car alone just looks so cool to me.
Michael Keaton, the one that like drives on uphill.
No, God,
buildings.
no.
Or that was the Tim Burton one, right?
No, those were the Joel Schumacher ones. Those are terrible. What are you doing? Get out of here. No, I'm talking about like the Batman, the first one with Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton. That Batmobile. It looks like it has a little jet turbine in the front of it.
Yeah. It did have a jet.
They also, because the Batmobile is just like the Bond cars, they have all these different generations. So, you could have the Adam West, this open cockpit kind of thing going.
Old school.
Yeah, the old school Batmobile.
So when you say Batmobile, you're choosing the Michael Keaton one, though. You're not choosing
Not
all of them.
You can't. Yeah, you can't be greedy. You have to pick one.
No. Okay. What do you plan on doing with this vehicle? May I ask you? If you chose, like, since we're choosing these vehicles,
I would totally pretend I was Batman. I'd find the best Michael Keaton Batman costume ever.
Well, if you're saying like if you chose this car and it's the real vehicle from like that universe,
right. You
like
could literally.
So would you be Batman then? Would you be Batman?
No. I think what I would do, I would use it for road rage. If somebody was like really pissing me off, I would use one of those missiles just to blow them off the freeway. I know that probably sounds really bad, but.
When you say it like that, it makes me like...
Wish you had a Bond car?
No, because the Bond cars made more sense.
Well, you know what the best part is? You
with that shit.
You can go back in time with your DeLorean and change your mind.
See, that's the beauty of the DeLorean.
There you go.
You know, why would I be in a hurry? Because I have all the time in the world.
Yes. But we're kind of steering away from the cars themselves. So I wanted to talk to you about the cars because I thought it was a funny thing to think about. So, for example... Since we both mentioned, you mentioned Bond cars, I mentioned Batman cars. Let's do like fisticuffs, like versus. Like, who would win, the Batmobile or a Bond car?
We got like wacky races.
No, I'm talking like if they were to go head to head, if Batman and the Bond car were going to fight each other, which one?
Well, I know, but like, because like, how would you determine that? Because
they all have special gadgets.
You're not going to judge it on a strip. You're not going to do a track. They're all going to be handled different.
This isn't a race. I'm talking.
We're not talking. Yeah. So would you like remember the cartoon in the 60s, 70s, 80s?
I'm not talking about the the
wacky racers where they're like.
Yeah, I know wacky races. Yeah.
And they
they
build
like
the cars.
A speed racer thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like a speed racer. And speed racer like I'm blah, 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 blah. So in that kind of sense, you get to judge like track. You get to judge time, endurance. You get to judge.
But I'm not talking
durability.
Racing. Yep, I'm talking all of that. I'm not talking race. I'm talking.
No, that's what the wacky races did. They tested everything.
Yeah. So
and the wits of the driver.
That's a good point. So wacky race style. Who would win between the Batmobile and a Bond car?
That's a tough one. Well, first off, if we're talking about the Bond cars, they're all Aston Martins.
Yeah.
Aston Martins are very expensive. I'm not saying the Batmobile is not expensive,
it would be
but
very
the Aston
expensive.
Martin is more of a common car. Batmobile, we don't know what car it was. We do, but we don't.
Well, it's custom made. Let's just say it's custom made.
The Aston Martin has a strong engine. It's been proven. It's a great car.
The Batmobile has a strong engine too. Jet engine, for crying out loud.
Yeah, but you really think jet engines are practical on the road?
You know what? It's all about how you control it and drive it, I guess.
I had to give it to the Aston Martin because you're talking about spy shit here. Batman's just throwing money at it. So, I mean, there could be bigger gadgets and bigger things in the Batmobile, but the Aston Martin's going to do it more...
Elegantly,
I guess.
We're not looking for looks here.
Yeah, we are.
Talking about...
We want to look good.
You're so dumb. So you're not even talking about...
Now, if you're talking about durability, I think the Batmobile will be more durable. I think Aston Martins are, if you've seen a lot of the movies, they're throwaway cars.
Right.
They usually end up getting blown up. I'm talking about the new Daniel Craig ones. That's the only one I can really reference now.
Well, they're all similar.
But they all get blown up or destroyed.
Batmobile has been destroyed in a couple movies, but it's not the same.
Wait. Yeah? Oh, yeah, huh?
Yeah.
Even the Batman Begins movie, it got destroyed.
Yeah.
Turned into a motorcycle.
Right.
This is hard.
All right, moving on. Well, then let's talk about something else. The personalities of cars.
Personality. Oh, I guess when you look at them,
there's
yeah.
There's Herbie, the love bug,
Well,
and you've got Kit.
well,
from
when you
Knight
say
Rider.
personality though, some reason the Shaggy Wagon,
Oh,
the
you're
Mystery
talking
Machine,
about the Mystery Machine
popped up
huh?
because it's got personality. Look at it.
Yeah.
If you look at the vehicle,
Yeah. It's definitely a hippie.
the
mobile,
Ghostbusters
for sure.
car has
It
personality.
does too.
For
But I
sure.
meant like it as an actual,
as a character,
like a soul almost. Like it literally talks to you or it literally reacts with you. Kit from Knight Rider and Herbie are the only two cars that I can think of right off the top of my head.
Transformers.
That's true. But,
Optimus Prime's us.
but that's kind of a morph. That's like a character that transforms into something.
Yeah, but the car still has personality. Even like if you're trying to compare like the car as itself before it transforms into a transformer. All those cars have personality. If you think about it, in the movie, I know the Shia LaBeouf one. The Camaro. First, Bumblebee was a bug.
Yes.
In the cartoon,
Yes.
and as a toy
Yeah.
that Hasbro made, but then they wanted to use a Camaro because Chevy wanted to advertise the new Camaro.
Right.
So it was an old Camaro, and it had personality. Like it didn't like how it looked, so it found a new Camaro, it copied it, and it made itself like it had some personality, and it talked to Shia LaBeouf through radio. I think Bumblebee, out of all the characters in Transformers, had personality as a vehicle because he talked only through how vehicles could.
That's true. That's
through radio.
The radio, which was an annoying factor for me as a fan.
It did get annoying after a while.
But yes, as a vehicle character, I think that's intelligent. That's a great point.
And then Herbie.
Yes,
Herb?
Herbie the love bug.
All I know is the Lindsay Lohan version. I don't know the older one.
Man, you're dating yourself, sir. Or
I
maybe
know.
I'm dating
maybe
myself.
You're old.
I
Maybe I just didn't care about those. I was too busy playing Nintendo.
You did.
And playing Legend of Zelda. Who knows? Or Adventure on Atari.
Right. So you said Atari. You can't be that.
Well, I had an Odyssey at one point.
Right.
We keep not talking about video games. We should talk about one day what systems we own.
That's
That'd be a
true.
good talk
That
one
would be
day.
too.
That would be a really good one.
Yes.
But Herb. All I know is that his personality was it wanted to run races, right? Was that?
It was a lovable character. Tried to help other people sometimes. The older ones, the original Disney ones. And there was a couple of, I think there was a movie where he falls in love with another race car. So he had like a personality. Like if he didn't agree with his driver, he would let his driver know, that kind of thing.
Okay. And then Kit,
like he's like some intelligent car, right? That
was created. Artificial intelligence.
Yeah, some artificial intelligence. Yeah.
Well, let's.
You know what else I thought of too, by the way? We're getting away off subject, but Magnum PI, they had that car. That was a Ferrari, right? That was a cool one. That was a standout car of the 80s as well.
I can barely remember what it looked like.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask you, with the cars that were built, like, do you ever think about, okay, so Kit, we talked about the three, the Kit and Herb.
Yeah. Ghostbuster car?
No, the ones that were created with life, I guess we would say artificial life.
Personality, yes.
Like, who maybe forget the question now.
I don't know. But we were just doing a comparison with their personalities.
We were. But do you ever think about like who built them? Not in real life, I guess, but
but in their
world, yeah.
I don't know if that was explained with Kit, but Herbie would be an interesting one. That one I would like to know because that really just seems out there,
And like what goes around people's like in their minds in the show, like I guess you would see Batmobile was built by Bruce Wayne,
right? So
you get to see his personality, but then you go to a car like Ghostbusters. Who built the Ghostbuster vehicle?
Right.
Did they talk about it in this movie?
Well, they did. They bought an older car. I thought it was a hearse, but I could be wrong.
No, it wasn't a hearse.
It wasn't. It was a medical car or some kind of.
Yeah, it was some kind of part of it, some station wagon.
Yeah.
But
they put their touch into it.
They did, okay. And then let's go to Scooby-Doo. Mm-hmm. Who they didn't build it, they painted it obviously, but why would they paint it the Mystery Machine?
I want to say the Mystery Machine was Shaggy's. And I think they, obviously
you never see Shaggy drive
60s.
it.
No, but I think it is his. And it's all like, 60s.
Well, you probably just think it's his because you affiliate Scooby. When you say Scooby-Doo, you think Scooby, Shaggy, Mystery Machine, and then the three.
Well,
two colleagues.
Yes.
Three. Velma, Daphne,
Scooby-Doo
and
belongs to
Fred.
Shaggy. And I know Daphne's rich, and so Daphne's family, they would not.
Fred's got to be rich too, man, with his ascot.
Well, I think Fred, his parents were like in the law enforcement or something like that. And Velma, I don't know really her story at all. But I'm pretty sure what happened. Shut up. I know it's shut up.
She's the hot one though.
This is all about Velma, the nerd.
Oh man, you should see some cosplay. She is well done, way more than Daphne. Like Velma is the. Oh.
I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. It's so ridiculous. Anyways, so yeah, the Mystery Machine is definitely one of those things. But I think one of the things I would always love to do is take Ecto 1 and drive that around on Halloween night, like just blast the sirens and just like act like just drive around a neighborhood just for fun, just for kids to see it. Like, oh look, the Ghostbusters are rushing off to some other place. And
I wonder how many people build Ecto 1s. They made an Ecto 2, didn't they?
Yeah, it's even more elaborate.
Yeah, I wonder how many people actually built them outside, like in our world, not in their world.
It's a secret ambition of mine to build it because everyone's building. Everyone built a
DeLorean. Everyone builds a time machine.
Everyone builds a time machine.
And there's only like 5 DeLoreans in the world.
Right.
And everyone's made them into time machines.
Right.
So
I think that's interesting. Yeah.
5's a low estimate.
But yeah, no one's ever built the Ghostbusters.
I've seen Herb. Yeah.
Another secret
no
ambition
one does right.
is to find an old school Mack truck, like from the 80s, to redo Optimus Prime. I think that'd be fun to redo an actual Mack truck to drive that around. That'd be pretty sick.
Junkyards.
Yeah. They're hard to come by, some of those vehicles now. But
you know, it's sad though about the vehicles. I watched a documentary with Back to the Future when they restored the original DeLorean, or maybe it wasn't the original one because they had like 7 or 8 of them on the set. When you go to Universal Studios and take the tram ride, they take you down this hill that has all these iconic cars. Magnum PI's Ferrari's there. Yep. It actually wasn't a Ferrari. Okay. I mean, it was a Ferrari kit, but it was on I think a Miata or something that made it. Yeah, because they didn't want to buy a Ferrari. So, you go down this little row, this like aisle of just like iconic cars, but they're all like just out there. The elements are attacking it. No one takes care of them.
Really?
They're just the DeLorean was out there for a while, and someone pointed it out, and they got a restoration crew to fix it.
Wow.
But there are still cars decaying out there. I think there is a Batmobile out there. There is Magnum PI car. There was I'm
really surprised they wouldn't have put that inside a warehouse, especially nowadays when they have all those rotating parking.
You'd think, and then there is the Jurassic Park cars. Those are pretty iconic too.
Those are iconic
because they even brought it up in Jurassic World.
They did. They brought the Jeep back.
And there was a few other cars out there that I can't remember, but I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of like they want to show you like, oh cool, here are the cars, but they're so not taken care of and they're just trashed out there. It's like a junkyard almost. You're like, it's kind of depressing.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because that's a great point because. Why is it depressing? Well, it's depressing because as a child, for me, watching those shows, the cars, not including not to the extent of Herbie or Kit, but those cars were characters. They were like, and this is a stretch, and like in Star Wars, the Millennium Falcon, in my opinion, is just as much of a character as any of the other people. It has its own act-ups, and when you see it, you get excited. So the same thing with all these other cars. You see the sirens of the Ghostbusters going. It's exciting. You see the tire marks of flames with the DeLorean. That's friggin' awesome. It's
and a lot of times kids don't remember what the actors' names are, and they know the cars though, and they know the vehicles.
That's right.
They advertise for it, and
it's unfortunate that General Lee,
I think General Lee was out there too.
This whole controversy about the Confederate flag that's been going on for a while. It's a rebel symbol. Okay, I know people associate it with slavery, but original intent was that they were rebels, and that's why.
That's horrible. They shouldn't. People are ignorant.
I know, but that's the whole reason why the General Lee was such a cool idea because those two characters that were driving it were always rebellious. They were doing ridiculous stunts, rebellious things, fighting the law and doing all this other stuff. And it's unfortunate that personality in that car has to kind of like almost disappear and become part of history because of something like that. But
for some people who are just so ignorant, thinking that the Confederate flag, freedom of speech, people.
Freedom of
Not
speech.
saying that I have the Confederate flag or anything, but both sides, North and South, were supporting.
Unfortunately, it's in bloody water. That's the flag is associated with stuff.
Learn your history, people.
Yes.
But we're not talking history here. This is
No,
entertainment.
We're talking about cars.
Yeah.
And cars and entertainment. The A-Team van. We haven't talked much about that.
Oh, the A-Team van.
Yeah, so
they just repainted Mystery Machine.
That's pretty much it. But it's got that cool red stripe up along the side. And did you ever see the new A-Team movie, which I thought was brilliant?
Well, I was going to ask you about that because I like the new A-Team movie. It was great,
It was amazing.
I'm surprised they didn't make a sequel or anything.
I was hoping they might.
Yeah, you kind of were, but then like they didn't, and it was good. But in that movie, it was Mr. T's van. Is that what it was?
That's how it always is, yeah.
It's a Mr. T's van,
and it was great because, they played up on it and then they just destroyed it, which was unfortunate, but it was hilarious. But we saw it. We got to see that iconic vehicle in the new movie. You know
what we didn't bring up, though? Fast and the Furious cars.
You know what? Don't hate me, but I have not seen any of those movies.
You probably shouldn't.
Okay. But are there any
They just came out with
iconic
the music
cars?
video. They came out with the music video recently because Paul Walker's passing.
Of course.
And the music video was so well done. It's better than all 7 movies, 8 movies, 7 movies.
I believe that.
The only reason why I watch the movie is because you get sucked in. You watch the first one, you're like, you watch the second one, hoping the second one will be better. It's awful.
Got a following.
And then it became a following because then they created this shitty storyline. Right. But anyways, yeah, they are kind of iconic because you see these movies. There's only movies out right now that you see these exotic cars and like high souped up street racers, rice rockets.
Well, let me ask you this: do any of those cars, like, does the same car show up in all?
They
the
don't.
movies?
But you feel like it's iconic because each character drives a similar car to their personality.
Right.
But they
don't ever show up with the same car.
No, but they all drive similar cars throughout the whole series. Like you always see Brian, Paul Walker's character, driving some kind of all-wheel drive vehicle. Gotcha. Like he had a Subaru. The first movie he had a Supra and he had a Eclipse, but that was just the first movie. Gotcha. But then he started driving Skylines and Subarus, and then he had the Evo and number 2. So they're all-wheel drive vehicles because he likes all-wheel drive cars. Right. Toretto or Vin Diesel's character would always drive a muscle car, American Muscle. So I always find it funny because he would always have these old muscle cars, right. But in the newest movie, they're in Dubai. Of course, they're going to set in Dubai with all the exotics. So all the characters roll up in exotics. Fucking Vin Diesel rolls up in like some kind of Magnum or a Challenger. And I'm like, really? The cheapest, a $30,000 car roll up and everyone else has like $400,000 cars? What the fuck?
That's kind of
But
funny.
it's just like, the car themselves don't have iconic value, but they have personality because the person who's driving is the personality in there, which is kind of neat.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because you mentioned that they have a new ride at Universal Studios focused on the Fast and the Furious.
It's part of the tram.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, it goes all the way back to like playing with Matchboxes as kids. I mean, like you take those same personalities and obviously the sports cars, so they were cool. And Speed Racer, I saw the movie came out a while ago. I was pleasantly surprised by that movie. I done by the same brothers that did The Matrix.
I didn't watch it.
It's a very stylized piece, but to me it spoke volumes. I thought it was a great family film, and I just loved the cars in it, and it was very much like a Hot Wheels racetrack a lot of times.
Well, that's what Speed Racer was, the anime, but that's before both our times.
Yeah.
That is, wow.
But I did watch the old show, by the way.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
So, but that was kind of interesting. So, again, you're still stuck with the DeLorean. You're gonna.
I would choose the DeLorean just because you get all the time in the world.
Yeah, all the time in the world.
All the time. The car's not that great.
No.
Fun fact, did you know that Robert Zemeckis was offered $70,000 from Ford to make the DeLorean or the time machine to a Mustang?
No.
And he said, Doc Brown don't drive no fucking Mustang.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I guess he really hates Mustangs. Huh?
I don't know, man. But that's how he said it, like in his release. Or
that's really
I don't know.
Funny.
That's what he really said. The Ford, but
right. That's funny. You know what was a great car? It wasn't in any movie, but it was the pink Corvette for Barbie. Do you know what I'm talking about? I guess you could say it was in Toy Story.
Oh my god!
Like that's an iconic car. You know what? I don't care what you say.
You know what an iconic car is? If you're mentioning Toy Story, RC.
Oh, okay.
He's an iconic car. You can't drive in him, but you can drive on top of him.
That's right. RC. Well, we're almost running out of time. So, do you have any final thoughts about anything else that you could have thought of about the history of like cars in general? You know what I noticed? There was no villains. I can't think of a villain car. Can you? These are all hero cars.
Wow. Yeah, like the protagonist, no
Yeah.
antagonist cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm a big car buff. I love cars.
But there's none that I can remember.
But
What about Stephen King? Wasn't there a car?
Stephen King.
Yeah, he had a movie. I can't remember the name of it, but the car was out to kill
Christine.
people. Yes.
I can't remember what car that was. It could have been a Camaro, to be honest, like a '69 Camaro, old school.
That might have been the only one that I can think of.
Wanting to kill people. Yeah, Futurama made a whole spoof on it too, with Bender turned into a were car, which is kind of funny. But I mean, we could probably talk about cars all night. I love cars.
Yeah.
I love, I have 3 cars myself right now, and I
know.
Can't get enough.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time, so thank you for listening to Entertainment Banter. I'm Matt.
And I'm Joel.
Are we done?
I'm done.
If you enjoyed that one, stay tuned because there's another one.